Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder, the place where we break down big company filings to find the hidden stories. And let me tell you, MEI Pharma has a story to tell. Alright, it's like they're trying to buy a ticket to the moon with crypto. So what's going on here is that MEI Pharma, which is a company that's been around for a while, decided to make some big moves in July of 2025. They needed money and they got it through selling more of their stock, but not just to anyone. This was a private sale, kind of like a secret handshake deal for investors. They filed a form called an 8K, which is basically a heads up to everyone that something important has happened. Think of it like a company shouting from the rooftops about a major event. This filing is all about new agreements and a big money raising event. They're basically getting cash in exchange for future promises and stock. The big news is they raised money through something called a private placement, where they sold shares of their common stock and also these things called pre-funded warrants. They sold over 23 million shares at 3.23 cents each. That's a lot of shares. Now, these pre-funded warrants are a bit interesting. They're like a down payment on future stock. People bought them really cheap for just a fraction of a cent, and those warrants let them buy stock later. The idea here is that it counts as a sale now, but the actual stock transfer might happen later. The company's stock symbol is MEIP. It's traded on a big exchange called NASDAQ. They also mentioned they are not an emerging growth company, which means they are a bit more established and have to follow more rules. Okay, so they entered into these things called securities purchase agreements. These are the official documents that lay out the terms of that private sale. They agreed to sell a bunch of stock and warrants to specific investors. And who helped them make this happen? A firm called Titan Partners Group. They acted as a sort of middleman, a placement agent, helping MEI Pharma connect with the investors who bought the stock. Titan wasn't just helping out for free. MEI Pharma is also giving Titan warrants to buy over 1 million shares of their stock. That's a pretty sweet deal for Titan. It's payment for their services in setting up this funding round. Now, here's a part that tells us about their strategy. They've agreed not to sell any more stock or do any big stock changes, like a reverse split for about 60 days after this deal closes, unless it's through a specific type of sale called an at-the-market offering. This is to prevent their own new stock sales from dropping the stock price too much. And what are they doing with all this money they just raised? They're handing it over to an asset manager to buy cryptocurrency and set up their crypto operations. This is a huge clue about their future direction. They are betting big on cryptocurrency. This leads us to another important agreement, the Asset Management Agreement. They signed this with a company called GSR Strategies LLC. GSR is going to manage the money MEI Pharma just raised. Basically, GSR is going to take the cash MEI Pharma got from selling stock and invest it. And what are they investing in? The filing specifically says they'll be pursuing a long-only investment strategy, investing primarily in Litecoin. Yep, they're going all in on Litecoin. As for how GSR gets paid, they get a fee based on how much money they manage. It's 1.75% of the total assets they're handling each year. And get this, they're paid in MEI Pharma's own stock or these special warrants if owning too much stock would break certain rules. This can sometimes be a way to align the manager's interests with the company, but it can also dilute existing shareholders. On top of the management fees, GSR is also getting warrants for over 1.4 million shares of MEI Pharma's stock as an initial reward for signing this deal. These warrants have different prices to buy the shares at, showing how valuable they expect the stock to become. Now, something else that came out of this deal is a side letter. This is an agreement that gives GSR Strategies, one of their big investors, the right to nominate someone to be on MEI Pharma's board of directors. And guess who that nominee is? Charlie Lee. He's the creator of Litecoin and the director of the Litecoin Foundation. This makes a lot of sense given MEI Pharma's new crypto focus, especially Litecoin. It shows they are serious about bringing crypto expertise into their leadership. His background is impressive. He even worked at Google and Coinbase before focusing on Litecoin. Having him on the board shows a strong commitment to the crypto strategy. Charlie Lee is also listed as a beneficiary of Green Dragon Investments LLC, another company involved. Speaking of Green Dragon Investments LLC, MEI Pharma also signed an advisory agreement with them. Green Dragon will also provide asset management services for the money raised, again with a focus on crypto. Green Dragon's fee is also based on the assets they manage at 0.75% per year, and they also get paid in warrants for MEI Pharma stock. These warrants have a really low exercise price of just $0 egano $0.01, meaning they're basically free stock for them once they vest. And there's one more advisor on the list, Green Grass Ventures, or GGV. They've signed a strategic advisor agreement to give advice on private placements and crypto transactions. For their help, GGV gets warrants to buy nearly 500,000 shares of common stock with a strike price of $4.10. This is a bit higher than some of the other warrants, suggesting they are being compensated for specific advisory roles. Now, this next part is interesting. On July 22nd, the same day they closed these other deals, MEI Pharma also entered into a sales agreement with Titan, the same firm that acted as their placement agent. This agreement allows MEI Pharma to sell up to $100 million worth of their stock through Titan over time. This is called an at-the-market offering, or ATM. This ATM program is a way for them to raise more money flexibly in the future if they need it, and it's being done using a registration statement they already had on file. They pay Titan a commission of 3.5% for any sales made under this agreement. In connection with this new agreement with Titan, they also terminated an older sales agreement with a company called Jones Trading. It seems they're streamlining their sales operations. And of course, to let the world know what's happening, they put out a press release on July 18th, announcing all these big deals. Finally, the filing lists out all the actual agreements that back up all these announcements. These are the detailed contracts for the stock sales, the warrants, the asset management, the advisory roles, and everything else we just talked about. These exhibits are what would hold the nitty-gritty legal details. Alright, so let's wrap this up with my take. MEI Pharma is making a very decisive pivot into the cryptocurrency world, specifically focusing on Litecoin. They've raised capital and brought in key talent like Charlie Lee, which signals a serious commitment. The use of warrants for compensation, while common, does mean potential future dilution for existing shareholders, meaning their ownership stake could shrink if these warrants are exercised. The ATM offering also gives them flexibility to raise more funds, but again, dilution is a consideration. The big risk here is obviously the volatility of cryptocurrencies, especially Litecoin, and whether this new strategy will be profitable. The success of this venture hinges on their ability to manage these crypto assets effectively, and whether the market embraces their new direction. It's a bold move, and the next year or so will tell if it pays off. What's your take on MEI Pharma's crypto bet? Let me know in the comments below. If you found this breakdown helpful, give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more corporate deep dives. And don't forget to join our Discord community. The link is in the description. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.